Kia ora, and welcome to the Beer Jerk Beer of the Week Drink Along. I'm Joe.
And I'm Luke.
And this is Small God's Rose and Crown, a modern best bitter. As a British dad, you probably have feelings about best bitter, so why don't you introduce it?
And sparklers.
And sparklers, yes. It's the classic debate in every old man pub.
Heated debates on sparkler or no sparkler when you're pouring your cask ale. So Small Gods, you probably know, is yours truly. So me and Matt really enjoy brewing brown beers. We're all about innovative beers, unusual beer styles, historic beer styles, basically anything that's not a hazy pale. So we like doing all kinds of stuff and just whatever we feel like drinking. We don't have a brew schedule or a plan. Stuff just pops into our minds and then we make it happen. This beer came about from Matt occasionally has really good ideas, and one of them was when he mentioned that our really good friend Logan King was getting married, and Matt thought that, well, his name's Logan King and his wife-to-be is Rosie, so he thought Rose and Crown would be a good name for a beer. It's a very, one of the most popular pub names in England. I think maybe the Royal Oak is maybe the most popular, and the Red Lion's popular, but yeah, Rose and Crown would be in the top few. There's hundreds.
Lion Red.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever drank in a Rose and Crown?
I don't think I have. Hope and Anchor was one near me.
Yeah.
I struggle to remember. They all sound the same, really.
Yeah. Just culture bashing there.
Yeah.
So Rose and Crown obviously relates to the War of the Roses, the Tudors and the Stuarts, Lancaster, York, all of that sort of stuff, which again would link into sparklers and pints of cask. So yeah, this is a beer to honour our mate Logan. So cheers Logan and cheers Rosie. Happy nuptials. They got married a few weeks ago. Hopefully it's still going well. And of course, if you're making a beer called Rose and Crown, it's got to be a very English style, and a style that we haven't made, and not many people in New Zealand have made, is a bitter. But of course, we wanted to brew a beer for modern palates. We're here at our warehouse by the Fridge and Flag, and we're lucky to be over the road from Galbraith's, which is about the only pub in New Zealand that brews their own traditional cask ale and serves it from cask. Before you all write in, if you've seen beer on hand pump in Otago or Christchurch, that beer's been pulled from a plastic bag, which is lovely because it's the correct temperature and it's no carbonation, but drawing beer from the wood from cask is something quite different that we definitely don't have the time to go into at the moment. But yeah, Galbraith's does a lovely job with that. But even then, the vast majority of people drinking Galbraith's are not drinking the cask ale, are they?
No, they have was it 6 hand pull taps and then probably 12 maybe of fizzy beer.
Yeah, people in there, they're drinking the lagers, they're drinking the McLeod's Hazy Pale Ale. We wanted to make a beer that was a bit, I suppose, elevated for modern palates. So this is a very hoppy take on a bitter, and it's on the boozier side because bitters are generally lower ABV. Well, lower than modern craft beers.
Yeah,
right?
I think best bitters normally in the sort of 4% range, and this one's at 5.4.
Well, it's 4.9.
I really need to start learning the ABVs of these beers.
Yeah, well, it's written right there.
It's just at the top, and then you got sort of strong bitters above that. But yeah, it's sort of style that is hundreds of years old now, isn't it? And sort of probably had its peak popularity probably 50 or 60 years ago when pubs were, I guess, busy all the time and the European lagers hadn't sort of invaded Britain yet. Because I know cask ale has had a revival recently, but there was a point sort of in the late 20th century where it wasn't really taken or popular at all, was it?
No, real ales, which this is not a real ale because it's obviously in a can and it's fizzy, but that's what we're sort of honouring the bitter as a style, and yeah, it's brewed in the same way. It's just been dispensed in a bit of a different way. Real ale effectively died out in the 60s thanks to things like Watney's Red Cask. So you had like Tetley's, so all these sort of like fake real ales that were from keg. There was a big battle, and then CAMRA, the campaign for real ale, came about. All these young thrusters that were very passionate about the traditional way of doing things and real flavour. because beer was being mass produced, corners were being cut. It's kind of the same thing that happened in many, many countries. In New Zealand, we had the duopoly that took over, and all the small regional breweries were bought out or closed down. And that may happen again in 10 years. We will see. It's often things do run in cycles. So yeah, we had a period in England when stout had basically died out, really, apart from Guinness, which was still a small player. It was the lagers that were hugely successful, and some of these sort of, as I say, like Watneys and Tetleys and things like that. And then Camera sort of created a bit of a resurgence with these real ales.
Yeah, and I guess it's cool that craft beer has sort of taken a bit of market share, but has also honoured it from the go, whereas that lager takeover, the fizzy yellow takeover, sort of was aiming to kill it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just creating things as brands where people would feel like, well, as I said, like in New Zealand, if you're from Otago, then you're a Statesman, or you're a proud Waikato drinker. Just it's a brand rather than actually the beverage in the glass. So this is much hoppier. I think I was saying to you a couple of weeks ago that it's interesting these days that with a lot of breweries in New Zealand, they slap the acronym IPA on the end of everything. So there have been breweries that have made like a really lovely Rauch beer and they've called it a smoked IPA. And it's nothing to do with an IPA, it's been a smoky lager.
So we're drinking a brown IPA?
Well, exactly, yeah. In the same way that breweries are releasing, donut IPAs and things like that have no relation to the actual style. This actually would be, you can market this as a brown IPA. It's hoppy as hell.
Maybe not strong enough, but...
Well, for many breweries, I'm just like slagging everyone off today. I must be on the second pint. But yeah, for a lot of breweries will release a beer at 4.9% called an IPA.
That is true.
I wouldn't. A lot of breweries would release a beer that's way less hoppy than this and call it an IPA. But yeah, we've so I suppose it's a bit of a cross between IPA, Bond Best Bitter, with some really interesting hops that you know all about.
Yeah, very cool. So in Britain, I think East Kent Golding, EKG hops are the most popular.
Alongside Fuggles.
Yeah, Fuggles as well. And yeah, they're sort of in the background in the last sort of 20 or so years have been plugging away at some hop breeding and kind of, getting into that new age of hops. So this one features a hop called Harlequin. That's the sort of big aroma hop in this beer.
Yep.
So you might, if you sort of look, there's a bit of a tropical kind of aroma, isn't there? Which isn't something to be expected from this style, but...
Yeah, this when it was first packaged, obviously tasting it throughout the brewing process, but then when it's really, when it's packaged and it's got the CO2 in it and things, it's really when the flavour really comes out. And I drank it and really enjoyed it. And it wasn't until the next day when I sort of revisited the actual the profile, the tasting notes of the different hops we'd used. And it's interesting how ideas can be planted in your head through just being told what something should taste like. And it was passion fruit with the Harlequin. And I drank a can the next day and I was like, oh, actually, this is really passion fruity. Yeah. I wouldn't have picked it, but it placed it in my mind. And then I think, was it the First Gold that talks about marmalade?
Yeah, so First Gold is a Golding hop. So not as new as Harlequin, sort of that one is from the sort of late 90s. But that one sort of has your classic kind of peppery, citrusy, marmalade-y aroma.
Kind of spice to it.
Yeah, that is often associated with these types of beers. But this Harlequin, it's a pretty new. I couldn't find an exact date on it, but it's recently been bred, and sort of Britain bringing some tropical aroma hops, which is really interesting because those are mostly associated with New Zealand, I would say.
Yeah,
Australia.
Well, the New World, really. In Australia you got your like Ella and Galaxy, and obviously in the States all the big aroma hops. But it's really cool to see. So some of the previous beer of the weeks we've had have featured some modern German hops. So it's cool seeing what's happening with. So we made a table beer with Ariana, a modern French hop. So it's cool to see these sort of historic hop brewing nations actually seeing what's happening in the New World hop scene that's really taken over. New Zealand hops are the envy of the world, and of course in in Oregon, Washington, the States. So it's cool seeing modern stuff coming out of Czechia, Germany, France,
South
England.
Africa.
South African hops, yeah. I don't think anyone's imported any South African hops, but I'm really keen to do
Would be cool, yeah.
well, to do a collaboration with the Black Sands guys.
Yeah,
of
South African brewing family.
Yeah, Monster IPA. And the malt in this is quite traditional, but a little bit ramped up flavour-wise. It's it's brown, it's biscuity. I love using brown malt.
Yeah, lovely biscuity character, like in Mr. Tea Time. That beer was just so lovely.
Yeah, that was the most
Lion
similar.
Tower had a kind of bit of a darker, more roasty, but still biscuity character. And then this I would say a little bit lighter than both of those. But similar in character to the Mr. Tea Time, but just a little dialed back, or maybe the hops are just taking over on it.
Yeah, I'd love to see more brown beers getting brewed. I don't see that happening. I'm gonna keep brewing them.
Yeah, you'd love to see them getting brewed, and then you'd love to see them sitting in our chiller for. I mean, we brew small enough batches that it's only ever a couple months, but
yeah, they don't last long. Yeah,
I can't imagine some of the commercial brewers, accountants, allowing a decision like that.
No, it still needs to move. Fair enough, it's business, right?
Yeah.
I suppose bitter was. So in that time I was talking about when stouts had died off, and it was just before lagers took over and all those, the sort of new wave. It was bitter and mild, and you were a mild man or a bitter man, and bitter was the precursor to IPA. Really, that's the the pale ale end of things. So a bit hoppier, bit higher ABV, a bit more resinous, bitter. Well, maybe not even resinous, but just a bit more bitter character rather than a mild, which will be more in the 3%, more easy drinking, sort of softer.
Yeah, because milds are just pretty weak, sort of much darker malt, aren't they?
Yeah.
But smoother for that.
And beers that are designed for drinking again and again. You'd be a bitter man, and you'd go to the pub after work each day when you get your paycheck, and you drink 7 pints with your mates before rolling home. But they were lower ABV beers. But yeah, I think that's often the thing when I think about the modern palate, and also the beers that I want to brew. They are bold beers because no one's drinking 8 pints of Rose and Crown. The modern way of doing things with craft drinkers, it's the Pokemonization of craft beer. That people want to try something, be wowed by it, and try something else.
I mean, even your Lion Red drinkers throw a gin and tonic in there every few, don't they? So.
Or a Woodstock.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy it. It's definitely going down well for me. I've been enjoying drinking it since we released it a few weeks ago. Anything to add?
No, nothing from me.
Yeah, good beer. Sorry, Matt couldn't be here, but I'm sure he sends his best. Yeah.
Probably just wishing everyone harm and typical Matt things.
Yeah, just being a
Terrible
mean guy.
Yeah,
just
awful guy.
Piece of work, that Matt. Yeah. Great work, Matt. And as I say, congratulations to Logan and Rosie. Give them a big hug next time you see them around. And if you've been watching these for a while, you may have met Logan in one of our previous videos. So I should say he was the brewer at Whistling Sisters until they sadly ceased operating last year. So he's not doing that much at the moment. He's just like loving being a newlywed and living life.
Full-time husband, love
Yeah,
it.
goals.
Probably isn't, but.
Well, we can just make anything like this.
And Logan's ESB was a beer of the week, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's been a beer of the week.
Yeah.
At Small Gods, Whistling Sisters were the only brewery that we've done 2 separate collaborations with. So we made a really lovely table beer, Bedivere, and we made possibly one of my favourite Small Gods beers, which was Mother Made in Crone. Really beautiful triple with candy sugar that Logan put a lot of work into making, and it was it paid off on the beer, right?
Yeah, amazing. It was triple pepper, wasn't it?
Triple pepper triple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good beer.
In other news, we've just launched the fresh hop selection. So we haven't yet announced which beers are going to be in there and which breweries. We are locking them all in at the moment this week. So get that in on pre-order. You know that we always have the best selection. So there's a few exclusives already we're locking in. you want to give him a little ricey teaser?
Yeah. No, I think we'll leave it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, going to be a mixed box of brilliant beers from some of our favourite breweries around the country, and a big celebration of the fresh hop harvest. So get your pre-order in so you don't miss out, and we'll ship it as soon as all the beers arrive here. So that's going to be shipping in April time at some point.
Probably mid to late April.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah,
probably.
thereabouts.
Yeah, looking at third week of April, I'd say. But
Yep.
as with these things, as they always go, maybe fourth week. Deliveries.
And last bit of news, some really sad news actually. Our friend Tyson passed away a few days ago. So Tyson was a brilliant part of the New Zealand beer scene and a mate of ours. Yeah, he was last in a couple of weeks ago. We're chatting about IPAs and babies and life, and he was also a very passionate rally enthusiast, and he sadly died in a crash at the weekend whilst rallying. So yeah, really sad news for us and for everyone in the industry. So yeah, definitely raise a glass to Tyson. Cheers.